The Aldis podcast is brought to you by Aldis International, supplying your expert AI and digital transformation staffing needs across the US and Europe. Today, you are listening to our AI in Action series, where leading minds in AI from across the world share their story, success, and advice. AI in Action cuts through the hype and explores the true impact of artificial intelligence in our world today.
You're listening to AI in Action. I'm your host, JP Valentine. Our guest today is Rachel Cossar. Rachel is the co-founder and CEO at Virtual Sapiens. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here, JP.
Yeah, and we're delighted to have you. So, Rachel, let's start with yourself, please, as we do with all our guests. Could you give us an overview of your background in technology and your journey from where you got started, some of the roles you've held along the way, and what's led you to where you are today as the co-founder and CEO at Virtual Sapiens?
It's interesting because I feel like I have to start with where my actual journey began, which is nowhere near technology. I was a professional ballet dancer for 10 years, so stayed pretty much as far away from technology as possible. But during that time, I developed a passion for nonverbal communication, body language, presence, and performance. And those are the qualities that we track and analyze and measure with our AI at Virtual Sapiens. And so through a narrative of transition away from the ballet due to an injury to exploring your general relationship-oriented 9-to-5s to a pandemic, and technology really only came into the picture during the pandemic, actually, when I saw an opportunity to introduce greater access and scale to something that I was doing very manually and non-scalably myself in the form of nonverbal communication, body language, coaching, and training.
Very, very interesting. So you've set the stage quite nicely. So tell us about Virtual Sapiens. What is the mission of the business? What problem are you trying to solve? And then we can jump into the underlying technology behind all of this.
So Virtual Sapiens is essentially adding a level of democratization to training and skill building that historically was reserved just for C-suites, manager track, high potential employees. So we use AI on video to help professionals assess, improve, and master their video presence. We view this as a new and critical skill, right? When we think about the way professionals communicate, connect, and sell in our new world of work, the majority of it's happening over video, if not for every meeting, at least for some of the important ones. And there's a big assumption that professionals are comfortable with this channel of communication. And we simply know that that's not true. People are fatigued. People are not communicating effectively. There are communication misfires, especially when we think about some of the nonverbals that are involved. So our AI basically meet professionals where they are, whether it's with our asynchronous analysis tool or our live real-time in-call sidekick coach to provide feedback on some of the things that are crucial to effective communication over video.
So it's such a cool concept, in particular, given the impact that the pandemic has had on drastically reducing the person-human interaction and therefore putting some limiting factors on overall communication. So the high-level problem makes sense, but can you walk us through what it looks like for a user, or as you're bringing this to an enterprise, how you would take us on the journey from the time that they implement Virtual Sapiens to what it's like for the users, and what are the main impacts that it's having in a positive way?
Our products follow an assess, improve, master logic. So the first interaction, you, let's say as an individual salesperson, might have leveraging our technology is through our certification program. So you would assess your skills and develop a baseline foundational awareness and knowledge around the elements of virtual presence. Once you have been certified, and our certification is really based on awareness and education versus full-on mastery, right? We understand that a lot of these skills take time to build, and we're talking about rewiring habits that have probably been ingrained for a while. So once you move through the certification program, you get access to our in-call communication coach, which is called Sidekick. And the sidekick you can leverage on any of your Teams calls, Zoom calls, Google Meet calls, whatever video platform you use. You would have your sidekick in your corner, essentially providing you with real-time nudges to help you rewire those habits in real time. We found that traditional coaching models, which are either one-on-one or one-to-many workshop style, were great. Like they're wonderful, they're highly engaging, they're experiential, but real behavioral change requires some of that real-time nudging, like, hey, you just did it again, or that was better, and keep going. And then post-call progress tracking and analytics. So you would get this full suite experience of convenient, personalized coaching. And on the buyer side, right, if you are a training manager or you're leading a team, you also get insights into how your team is performing within this specific competency. So we help managers coach and support their team members in this kind of newly activated channel of communication.
Rachel, I want to spend some time now getting a better understanding of the team behind the scenes, in particular focusing on your technology and data team, because the product itself utilizes aspects of AI from a computer vision, analysis, and trends. So can you walk us through what the team looks like, particularly focusing on the technology and what you've built, and give a better sense of what the environment and the culture is like there?
Our technical team in particular is incredible. I am a technical co-founder whose background is in technology, and this is his second company. So he started in the e-commerce SaaS space and started an e-commerce SaaS platform in the early 2000s, built that up, sold it. And around the time of the pandemic, he actually took some time with his family. He has 3 young kids, and they were all going through virtual classroom learning and things like, wow, this is rough. And he himself was wondering, like, how can we make this better? And there seems to be something that we could probably leverage in the AI ML space. And we actually found each other on angel.co because I put up an ad for a technical co-founder. And after doing some co-founder diligence, dating, whatever you want to call it, we joined forces in May of 2021 and have been working together ever since. And he eventually brought with him one of his employees at his former company, who has now become our lead developer. And she's just phenomenal. I'm constantly amazed at the work she can do so quickly and efficiently. And then we're also supported by a team in Hungary who works with us on a variety of different, more specialized skills, particularly with some of the backend architecture and things like that. So we have a really well-rounded team. We run very lean, but I'm lucky to have like very talented and dedicated people.
You are listening to the Aldis podcast. When you're looking to scale your team, or if you are interested in showcasing your company in a future episode, reach out today. Or if you're in the market for a new role, visit our website to view open positions, www.aldis.com.
So you talked about the origin story and you've given us some insight into the journey up to today, but the most exciting part of what you're working on is what's in store. So when you look at the roadmap ahead, particularly the next 18 months to 2 years, because it's always hard to plan beyond that. But when you look at the next 1 to 2 years, what are some of the things that you're most excited about, both for the evolution of the product, scale of the opportunity with customers, and also the growth of the business?
There are a few things we're really excited about with regards to those topics. I think in the near term, we have these assessment and the certification product that is so unique in terms of what you typically see on the market. And especially because organizations of all sizes are really grappling with this new concept of a hybrid workforce and what that means in terms of updated training. We see no reason why our certification program couldn't be part of almost all existing training and onboarding programs. So that's like a big goal for us. And we've heard some initial very positive feedback and resonance. So we're excited to push that forward. I think there's something really interesting for us within more of a purely technical integration perspective. So if you think about how video has been activated in a variety of different verticals, whether it's recruiting or sales enablement or asynchronous video marketing opportunities, or even just like your classic like Zoom, Teams, video we're really at the tip of the iceberg in terms of leveraging video as a unique channel of communication. And our focus, which is on the nonverbal dimension of communication, is often a blind spot. And a lot of the conversational AI that's out there that focuses on what is being said is missing a huge part of the picture. So we're really looking forward to having conversations with some of these video-based platforms, speaking to their product people, seeing how they might leverage our APIs to bring, again, another dimension to their insights, unlocking more value for their customers, whether it be in the form of coaching along these lines so they can use video more effectively, or bringing somebody's body language insights to life.
So, Rachel, you and I were talking off air about, look, in the startup world, the first few years are critical, and you want to get some customers using your product and giving you feedback, as it gives confidence to the overall mission. Thankfully, you're already seeing great engagement from customers for what you're doing, and that's giving you confidence in the roadmap. I know you can't disclose too much customer by customer for confidentiality purposes, but could you share what that's been like from customer acquisition, getting feedback, and then using the feedback to further improve the platform? What's the overall customer conversations been like so far?
Yeah, great question. So the feedback in using our product has been surprisingly positive. And I say surprisingly because at the crux of it, we're using AI to provide feedback on something that's very personal. And there's a certain level of distrust when it comes to using AI in general, but then especially when we're thinking about using AI to help humans develop better skills as communicators, right? That's generally a quote unquote soft skill category. But for the thousands of people who have used our assessment product, the feedback has been that the experience is very engaging, very fun, that there's a hugely educational aspect to the insights we provide because people never realize some of the impact that they might be having on video by showing up in a certain way. And what I mean by that is if we're going to give an individual feedback on the way they're using IDs when they're listening or when they're speaking, or if they're using hand gestures effectively, or if they're framed incorrectly. And, we can get pretty nuanced at this point with our very niche insights and metrics. And to see so many people go through and use our AI tool and come out the other end having learned something about themselves is very powerful, because that tells us that even in this early stage of what we're building, if you're thoughtful about the way you build these thresholds and deliver the insights in a way that's relevant, you can be pretty transformative and really help a professional and navigate their way through their career. Because we know that communication is a big skill to develop as you move through your professional life. So getting that feedback that people not only trusted the AI, but liked to engage with it, learn something from it, and then carry those learnings forward, right, in their video meetings. That's been really fascinating. I will say we're still in the process of building a case for how showing up on video with great presence can affect whatever outcome it is that you're doing. So whether it's interviewing, will it help you land your dream job faster or with more certainty, or will it help you make that sale faster? Those are things that we actually are currently partnering with people to discover, because those take in order to come out with any kind of stick or a number percentage based result or relationship, you have to really have a certain degree of certainty, and that takes some time. So we're working.
Yeah, indeed. But look, you're working on it, but you're having success already. So I wanna finish on setting you up to speak to an audience of potential future customers, but also future employees, right? Because you're building something really cool. It's a great and novel use of a components of AI. So from insights and analysis, computer vision, real-time data. When you're speaking to whether it be potential companies, but more specifically the people who you've got to come on this journey with you, employees. When you're thinking about what you will say to future employees when you need to hire again, What are some of the things that you would tell them about the mission, the opportunity, the culture that would get them excited enough to join Virtual Sapiens over some of the other great companies hiring?
What makes our mission at Virtual Sapiens so interesting is that it really is at the intersection between AI and human interaction. And that's both in the sense of how humans interact with AI, right? So using AI as an actual coach. So more than an assistant, a coach that can provide insights on how you as an individual can improve the way you show up, the way you communicate, the way you connect. And then also in understanding how AI and humans can interact in more of a multiplayer scenario. So while I've been speaking mostly about leveraging our tools as like a one-way coach, there's also the opportunity to leverage our tools more broadly on call to bring out relevant insights on an otherwise pretty chaotic and noisy video call. There's both people and players on it. As we think about our evolution at Virtual Sapiens, I think that there will be a huge amount of opportunity to unlock once we start merging our insights and our data with other contextual aspects of communication. So whether that's the verbal, the text content-based components of that same conversation. So there's that layering aspect, which I think will have to be very sophisticated when it comes to that point of evolution in our product.
Rachel, thank you so much for coming on today and talking to us. Great to learn about your backstory. Certainly non-traditional path to a tech founder, but that's always great to showcase because it can give anyone the confidence that if you've got the right idea and you see an opportunity in the market, sometimes you just got to go for it. But what you've described at Virtual Sapiens seems like a great use of technology and AI that is going to have an impact on an ever-growing industry of online video interactions. We were delighted to have you on the show. We wish you all the best on your journey and we look forward to having you back on the show again in the near future. So thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Thanks, JP.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the All This Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.allthis.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.